Good day, Ross Jason Bohm Live. It's the Echo today. There you go. Well, redoing the one I did on Justin Trudeau, United Nations, talking about foreign aid, helping poverty, and so forth from a week or so ago. How we give billions of dollars out in foreign aid. I'll show that map on the foreign aid that we hand out to people around the country while Justin is talking, and so forth, which we could better our food banks and our soup kitchens, helping the poverty, helping them with a better education so the kids can get out of poverty, as human rights and the Charter says, equal protection before and after the law, free lunches maybe for the kids in schools, and so forth. That way they're eating properly. It doesn't matter the rich or poor, we're all justified by the same laws of this country. Intending to harm and knowing somebody is starving to death or being tortured in some way or another, being strung up on a system that their parents can't find full-time work to support them. Later on you'll find a video that this lady says she works 3 jobs and makes little under $2,000 a month and is still living in poverty and doesn't have much food, as well as the United Nations speech that says the same thing about poverty in Canada and the people going to food banks. We have a great problem in the Comox Valley as well. We have over 1,000 people using our food banks, which we have the Salvation Army and the Comox Valley Food Bank in the pantry. We could have the Walkie Centers as well. I think that's how you pronounce it. To make sure somebody has a better life, you have to make sure they have a job that lasts forever. Meaning, you don't train them in the military for 6 months, give them a contract for 4 years, and psychologically traumatize them and run them off, or for any apprenticeship program. We hire and train people to do jobs, so they'll do it for 20 years or 40 years and have an adequate lifestyle, being human rights and fair wages and all that. Not a minimum wage where you're scraping by and not making enough money at $1,300 a month, starving to death in an apprenticeship program or a low-end job. You look at the pay rate they pay for education in the military and the policing sometimes, being the RCMP, and regular police, they make them pay for their 2-year program, but it's a 4-year program at the University of Saskatoon, dealing with crimes and addictions to become a police officer. Kinesiology and addictions, it's called. Well, I'm going to put this video on. You can listen to Justin for a minute, and then I'll put the map of all the money by foreign aid out there that could be used for Canadian citizens as well. Plus, I have to state, can we let refugees and foreigners in the country? We don't let too many refugees in anymore. It's very few and far between because we don't have enough jobs for poverty. The poverty that can work are ones that are disabled and on narcotics or drug abuse. That's another question. We have to smarten them up and get their borders to stop letting the drugs and stuff into our country somehow, because our government controls all that kind of stuff. Understandable. You give somebody something, they don't want to do less. They want to do less work. They want to sit there. Yep. Work camps. If you don't want to work, you don't get fed. We might lose social services and be inhumane because we need the people to work, not sit around, because then we have discrimination, don't we? Discrimination by the value of what clothes you wear, adequate to get jobs in your education, mandatory to have grade 12 to get any higher education, and discrimination by a grade that you can't get into university because you don't have high enough grades to do so, or enough money. The banks won't loan it to you. The United Nations.
So delegates and friends, it's an honor to be with you today. And it's wonderful to be here in the great city of New York. Once again, this week, New Yorkers showed us how to be resilient and resolute in the face of violent extremism. On behalf of everybody in this room, let me say directly to the people of New York, you are a model to the world, and we thank you. Exactly 1 year ago, Canada was in the middle of a long and closely fought election campaign. 78 days on the road, and I can assure you, in Canada, there are 78 days worth of roads. It is the responsibility of a leader to spend time with the people they were elected to serve. If you want the real stories, you have to go where people live. Coffee shops and church basements, mosques and synagogues, farmers markets, public parks. It was in places like that that I got the best sense of what Canadians were thinking and
How is China poverty?
And through the politeness, because we Canadians are always polite even when we're complaining, I learned a few things. I talked with people my age who were trying to be hopeful about their future but found it tough to make ends meet even when they were working full time.
All these countries are older than Canada. Why don't they have more value in the assets and the earth that they live on
they don't have a job.
After 600,000
women
years?
And girls who still face inequality in the workplace and violence just because they are women, even in a progressive country like Canada. J'ai rencontré des parents qui travaillaient fort pour donner à leurs enfants toutes les...
He talks about women in the workplace. Well, I find that hard to believe because I feel that women are procreating and aggravating, assaulting men and making up things to run them from the job sites. That's right, union running, like I said. Jobs that last forever. We don't have International Men's Day or Canadians Men's Day for how hard they've worked to support their families when they're pregnant or if they're not able to work, to look after their families while they're starving to death, not making enough money and make ends meet. Women who commit adultery premeditatedly to get divorces for grounds of divorce and cause men grief so they can't work in the society anymore or around women. Discrimination. And groups like the Comox Valley Women's Fitness Club. Women only. Isn't that discrimination? That a man can't walk into a fitness club because they have to have a private thing? Making instances up that don't happen? The world's a public place for all walks of life to walk around without discrimination. Women's worked for hundreds of years. It's only been in the last 125 years they had the right to vote and actually work. Timothy, in the Bible, King James, they weren't supposed to teach, work, or talk to the children at all, or have any authority position. Things have changed since those days. I don't know what era people are thinking about, but there's less men than women. It's 7-1. 7 ladies / women to 1 man. Now we have gay and transgender stuff, and that's how it works.
Problem with hunger in this country? The United Nations says the answer to that is yes. It sent a special investigator to regions right across Canada. And what he reported today, speaking within earshot of Parliament Hill, no less, has outraged the government. The CBC's Laurie Grant.
This country, more than 800,000 households who are considered food insecure, representing between 2 and 3 million individuals, and that we have close to 900,000 people depending on food banks.
During his 11-day tour of people who depend on food banks to feed their families.
Food is almost non-existent. But my monthly income from 3 jobs is just under $2,000 a month. That's my take-home, what I can use to work. But my monthly income from 3 jobs is just under $2,000 a month. That's my take-home, what I can use towards taking care of communities.
That's $2,000 a month, and she can't barely get a hold, and 3 jobs. Overworked, underpaid, 1 job, 1 husband, 1 wage. Like a living wage, $28 an hour. You can Google that as well. As it says here, here's my webpage name. You can look it up as well. I don't know. As a single man, 906 a month on assistance for over, since I was on PPMB. Before that was less. I had a dumpster dive to get extra money for food so I could get this computer, bed, and everything. Before 2000, I guess, 10 or 11, when my uttering threats got thrown out of court, I had no bed to sleep in. I slept on the floor. I had a borrowed TV and VCR, and I had no coffee maker, and nothing at all. I had 2 Rubbermaid containers, a blanket, my sleeping bag that was replaced because it was destroyed, and that's it. Had to buy everything from what I got from picking bottles and cashing in bottles from anywhere from 50 cents to $25 a day. From 2005 to 2012, when they put me on my first psychiatry thing and didn't arrest me with arrest warrants and violated my human rights, laws, and ethics of this country and assassinated me. They executed my life of manslaughter, malpractice, and harmed me. Now I have to run from asylum from their ill thinking and belief to harm me. They didn't want to better educate me. They kept psychologically torturing me with all these job shops and everything like that. Be denied different types of work, and now I can't do anything because I'm physically unfit to do anything because they took my hormones away, called testosterone, and gave me a chemical lobotomy, which you can watch on my Invega side effects page of all the side effects. And that's right, World War II Wartime Act, like I've said before, and assaulted me. I'm just reading from what I wrote down on my first video right here. Our past came here in suitcases, being the Irish and the Ukrainians and everything like that, and started out with nothing. What do those people have from 150 years ago? Are we hiring Canadian citizens that lived here over 100 years ago for all the CEOs and big high-end jobs in the government and so forth? Or are they newcomers within the last 50 or 25 years? They become landed immigrants or permanent residents, and then their kids are starting to run the country. I think that's a little unfair that you aren't hiring Canadians that lived here 100 years and that all newcomers are looking after everything as well. Is that some type of an invasion just to hide it? I don't know, but that's my theory. Just like seizing a castle. You pretend to come in peace, then you start a battle in the walls. Structure of society, definition of a terrorist. Hope you have a great day.